if snow is snowing, we better catch it while it's snowing.
We can do it after the class. I mean, there's enough. It's not going to.
It's up to grade.
Where's my good buddy Joe Knox? There he is. Okay, this is my good buddy Joe Knox. He and I were school teachers together, and he was polite enough to come in and help me work on this material. My dear friend Jim Ellison, one of the Dojo jewels. If you guys don't know Kitty over there, Kitty is another founding member of this school. So we're happy and pleased that she's healthy and about and doing stuff. And
Bad.
Yeah. And we're going to look at some cat work stuff and groundworks. I'm serious. Some stuff I kind of, Nick clued me to, and there's some stability stuff that's really, I mean, if you haven't seen it, Ronda Rousey, you seen her on the Swiss balls? You seen her on the Swiss balls? It's some amazing stuff. Now the thing about when you start doing these balance works and we start putting some tools out here for you to use, you have to remember that sitting it on a concrete surface and then sitting it on a spring-loaded mat almost doubles the, on a spring-loaded mat doubles the difficulty, basically. So when we practice some of those things. But anyway, this is where we're going, if you don't mind. We're gonna work toward the relaxed arm in Aikido. This is some of the last work that Karl did before he passed away, and I just found it very fascinating. So the deal is that he comes up and he grabs the belt, right? So he steps back, and step back all the way back, step back, and that's where we're going. We're going to start with a little, before the main event starts, we're going to start with a little drill, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. It's Nick filmed it here with Karl at this school, and it's just a loose arm drill. It's a follow your center drill, and Pat knows about this drill. Most people do. But it's something that I've always enjoyed. I've enjoyed watching it and how it works. So I put this mat out here on this seam line. You see there's a line going this way. And now we got a 45-degree line and another 45-degree line. Is my math right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if we stand with our toes on the edge of the mat. Oh, by the way, you're very rude. This is my buddy. I introduced Joe, didn't I?
Yeah, that's Joe.
Okay, before our baptism in snow. And you hold your hand. He's got to have a relaxed arm. Okay. This is the whole key to using those belts. Is taking your energy out of your arm and trying to throw with the space between you. Try and make a connection with the space between you. And so if Joe relaxes his arm and it stays in the center, we're both centered here, 45 degrees. If he relaxes his arm and we turn to our hand, we turn again. And we just do this for a while. We just do this for a while. And we do this for a while. Right. Now, that's the relation of these seams. So you got the 45-degree line. You get here. Now you can grab same hand or you can grab cross hand. Okay, this is cross hand. If we relax our arms, we rotate. Now, one person is designated driver and the other one is designated follower. Okay, so as I relax the arms, we relax the arms. Now I'm driving because I got a grip. But it'll work both ways. I can follow why I have a grip too. But right now I've got the grip, so I'm being the driver. And Joe is being the follower. Okay? He's staying in his center. But you see how he's holding his arm up right here? Yeah, that's something that you're going to have to figure out. Are you holding up your arm for him? Are you holding your arm up for the driver? So you don't want to hold your arm up for the driver. What you want to do is follow with your feet and keep it in your center. Now, the other part of the equation is we got the 45 in his center and 45 in my center. The two masses are merged. Now, we're going to go back and forth down this line. Down this line, right here. And we're going to constantly oscillate from center to center to center to center. And let your feet, well, normally you want your feet to stay underneath your shoulders, okay? But let your feet do whatever it takes to keep your hand in your center when the guy is dragging. Like, I'm going to pull, Joe. Let's get back at the 45. Center, center. And he's just following me. Notice that he's not compressing the distance. Now I'm going to drive him back this way. Now, he can't get ahead of me, you see. Because then that makes him the uke. Makes him the driver. So his job is just follow. And you'll feel the difference between whether he gets ahead of me or not. So I'm driving him back. See, he doesn't know when to go back. I have to drive him back. Okay, but we're back at this 45-degree relationship. Okay. Give this a try. Use these seams. And just go up and down the mat with that little thing. And then I'm going to introduce you to a dear friend of mine. Hey, thank you. Kind of move over. One thing that on the modification, if you're the driver, make sure you're constantly, don't stop on your momentum. Continue your momentum, continuation as much as possible. I mean, it's okay to center slow, stop, center, stop, center. But you're moving toward continuous motion. At this time, we have a rare occasion to introduce Kitty Sullivan and Jim Ellison, original founders.
You tell us where we need to be, Glenn. Okay. Greg asked us to give about 5 minutes on the origin of how we got to this place here. And I'm going to let Kitty start off first because she started before I did.
Sort of started before we did.
It counts.
It sort of was a group that just sort of kind of fell together. There wasn't any great grand scheme. We didn't all meet at some holy place and decide our course of action. We were just a bunch of people who wanted to learn something that was real. And I can remember myself, just a little bit history of mine. When I was 14 years old, I was watching one of the very first televised judo tournaments at the Olympics, and I thought, that's almost what I want, but not quite. So that's cool, but that's not all. So it took me another 14 years to find what it was. And when I saw it, I knew that's what I wanted. And we started off, and if any of you have heard the name Karl Walden, he's here locally. I think he started with Karl Geis in Judo some years before. And that's our connection with Karl Geis. Karl Geis came from Enid, the Enid area. So that's why we kind of got hooked up with Karl Geis. We started with in Karl Walden's garage with one light bare bulb hanging down from the ceiling and rotten tatami on the floor. And there was a whole lot more discussion than there was actual work because nobody knew what they were doing. And then we got to the Lotus Center, and Jim will take over.
We got to the Lotus Center, which was a meditation center that Karl Walden participated in, and they allowed us to play Aikido there. Karl talked to the guy and got us in. Karl and another guy named Steve Duncan were both black belts, and they started it at the Lotus Center. And we got the best of both worlds. Karl was spiritual, Steve was a technician. So we got the best of both worlds. We went through the Lotus Center for probably about 6 or 8 months and got asked to leave. And we ended up in the Bethany YMCA. We were there about 2 years, and got asked to leave. We won't go into why and all this other stuff. And I kind of dropped out for a little while during this period. And Chuck Caldwell, who was at the Lotus Center with us, was asked to leave the whole situation for a while. And after his 2-year hiatus, he asked, could I come back? And he started a dojo on 16th Street off of Classen that right here in the middle of the dojo had a pole. This was very awkward, and he kept calling me. About every other month he'd call me and ask me if I'd come back. I came to that dojo once, and then he moved about 2 buildings down to a very awkward building.
Rustic.
It was probably more like original Japan stuff. There was no running water, there was no heat, there was no air. So if we were in here today and that mat, and I blow my breath, you would see the frost. You had to really want to show up. We had wool socks, long johns, the watch hats, and we'd work.
You remember Kyle?
Now, after that, Chuck moved to another place that he thought was very good. It was again, it was on 16th, but we moved off a class into Portland. And over on Portland, the mat area was really nice, but he always lived in the dojo. And it had a big leak back in his apartment. When it rained and rained hard, he got wet. So we stayed there a while, and then we went out to H&H Gun Range on Meridian. We were at the end of it, but H&H Gun Range, if you know where that is in the middle. We were at the end. We stayed there, I don't know, a number of years. And Chuck, around 2000, decided he needed to go to Colorado, so he left, and we're lucky enough to have Nick take over. So in the meantime, Nick goes, I don't like this, so we found this. And if you want to look at how it ended up now, we're in a dojo that has a meditation center.
And 4 toilets.
Running water, heat and air. But we got back to where we came from. A meditation center with a dojo. Now we're a dojo and a meditation center combined. And if you don't think this is a meditation center out here, you need to look at it a little differently. But that's another topic.
That's another deal. And what I like more than anything else is that this particular dojo is not personality driven. We don't worship Nick. We all like Nick, but we don't worship Nick. But what we do pay attention to is the art and the development and the furtherance of the art. And that's what's the most important.
Good. Make them dance, Greg. Come on.
Well, Greg wants me to do did you do the turn?
I just talked about we're moving to the belt. We get relaxed on.
Do most of y'all do Tamiki style Aikido with the walk?
Yes.
No, okay. We have a thing where we do a turn in here, in our walk. One of the things that I found to help with this loose arm, and part of it is the relaxation of the shoulder. Throw your hand up and let it come down. Throw your hand up and let it come down. If you find you're dragging it down, then you're trying to control it. Where's Joe? You know, Greg was doing the turns a minute ago. If he grabs me and I try and hold on to him, he's telling me where to go. Okay. But if I try and fight this and try and control it and try and take it, I'm going to be in trouble. But if I let him go where he wants to go, now he'll tell you, I don't have any energy involved in this. But he looks like he might be in trouble. So you're doing this, and this will help you get this shoulder out of the way. You know, just boom, boom. We do it with the turn and it comes down. Up in the center, down in the center. What we were looking at the other day is how do we do some of this stuff? And we were looking at, do all y'all know the 8 release? No, okay. The 8 release is the way people can pull you. We're only going to use about 4 of them. But if he grabs me, and we're going to do this from static, and all I'm going to do is walk out there. Well, I can only get so far before this comes around. Now, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to just walk over here, and if I get here, my hand's not in my center, so I've got to keep it in my center, and it'll just come around, and he has to eat this energy. Just walk, 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 up. My hand's got to be in my center. Now, everybody grab a partner and do this to both sides. Try this from static, just like we did. Don't try moving yet, because if you can't get this part of it, and as this pulls out of your center, you got to get it back in your center. And that really makes me kind of drift out a little bit before I let this go. And now he's trying to hold it up. Questions, comments? When Tori's going over here, if Joe lets go right now, there's nothing for me to do. The only reason I'm turning back to him is because our arms can't go any further this way. I don't want to put any energy in unless I know what I'm doing. And if I don't put any energy in, he's got a whole lot less stuff to deal with. You know, so if he lets go, then it's over. There's nothing to do. So when you feel yourself out here, it's telling me to turn. And it's the feet that's telling you to turn and the hand in the center. This is going out of my center. I got to keep it in my center. So try it without Uke moving. But Tori, when he gets out there, if he starts feeling something, if his hand is still in the center, because there's a hole here that Uke can fall in. But when it goes and drifts a little bit and he takes that next step, it tells him, you got to turn. Okay? I'll tweak it as we go along a little bit. Say to start moving, but since a lot of you did, we'll go to that stage. And I had somebody ask, can you do it to number 3?
Oh, wait, am I holding?
Yeah. And yeah, it does the same thing. 1 and 3 are cross hand and then mirror hand releases. And it just does the same thing. You may want to start doing it with, he takes a step, you take a step, now it's telling me to come around. You won't get the 3 steps that way in moving. And I would tell you to do it in a very methodical 1, 2, 3 pattern. Because if you try and do something else, you'll get out of whack with it a little bit. Now right here, it's starting to tell me to come around and just meet him. You're not trying to put energy in, because if you put energy in, if I try and take this from Joe, oh, he's eating me. I will have to eat the energy. As long as he don't know what I'm doing, he's got to eat the energy. So do it from moving, but think about a 1, 2, 3 pattern. And when you get out there, you know, you'll feel when it's time to keep your hand in your center and get away from him. And you'll do the same thing with the arm coming over and letting go. Just so, questions? Try that for a little while and go slow. People will fall around. You know, the thing is, if he grabs this and I do my same relaxed arm, this is what's going to happen. Now, I wasn't even touching him. So I didn't put any energy into that. Now, the way we're going to start this, and there's enough belts around that corner. Hang on. First of all, you judo guys, if you want to hold it with your little fingers, that's fine. The guys that don't know that, I pinch it. You got to hold this tight. When he touches it, you let go. Now, he ain't doing this to do this. That's what's happening. That's the weight of the belt. Now, if that happens, you can take it a little further. So, ukes grab you a belt, and what I'd like you to start out with is just that. Don't get crazy, just go with, he grabs it and you let go right as he grabs it. And see if you get this motion. It's taken me a little while to figure out how to upgrade this. Oh, thank you. You get me where I need to be.
Turn this way.
Listen, if he grabs my hands and I let go, this just happens. And I'm not doing anything to him. This is the same feeling that you're trying to get from grabbing the belt. You're trying to let this energy or the heaviness of the belt take him. Now, if we got a little closer, no, grab it in the same place. Okay. If we got a little closer, it's probably not going to work. So you may have to adjust your position a little bit so that does happen. It will happen. But you can fight it and have it not happen. No. But all you're trying to do is the same thing. When he reaches out and grabs that and I let go of those shoulders, there's enough energy that he's going to go down. And it's not that I'm doing anything, it's just, so you're trying to get that same feeling with the belt. And if you're not getting it, stick your hand up and let me come around. Now, did everybody have some luck with the belt? Okay, the belt is leading to.
You want me to do it?
Now, if he does, now I don't have to do much. Real slow. He grabbed me, and what you're going to feel, let go of this one. He grabbed me, this one heavy first. Now, what that told me, I got to go this way and let him have this one, and this one I just come up and, kind of look around.
Wave at the camera.
But you might start with just, same thing as the belt, but he got me. And uke's job is to get got. Uke wants to feel this hole, and when you do it as uke, you want to feel that hole. That way, if it happens that you're going to throw it, you know where that hole is. So go from just light, I'm just letting my hands go. He's pushing them out to the side. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all to throw everybody all over the place. You'll figure out which one of y'all can take the fall and not. But go to about here. You can put them on point. You don't have to. And if there's any doubt that that's thrown, they can't do much from one foot. Questions? Add the hand is to show you that you don't have to be real heavy, if you're going to do something. All I got to do is let him attack and be light and easy and not worry about what's going to happen. I'm not going to out-muscle most of y'all. But if you grab me, oh my God, I can probably out-time and balance most people. Not all, but a lot. But he's touching me. That tells me, oh, let it go and go someplace that he wants me to go, which is not what he wants me to do, but anyway. And then I can just move along and go with his energy. He will tell you, if he attacks on Shominate, I don't have to be all this heavy. It's not something that I've got to go, ah! Oh my God, he got me. You know, that's not going to work. But if he don't know what I just did, I didn't know it was going to end like that. For y'all that didn't see exactly how that ended, go real slow. I blocked it, and he got past me, and I just kind of raised my arm. And so it doesn't always have to be what you think. But his motion in going will go to places that if you let it go there, he's got to eat the energy. Did he attack? Yes. Am I trying to do something to him? No. Oh my God. So the Aikido, if you'll allow it, and you continue developing the lightness, you don't have to worry about it, because when they grab and they have no idea what just happened, you know, and this is what these drills are getting you to. He grabbed, I just relaxed. Now he don't like that, so he's pulling up, I go with him. Now it takes a couple of years to get there, but that's what you're trying to strive for.
So, thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Yeah. In the closing, these relaxed belts and working on them and doing this type of strap stuff, we're going to get to where he's holding on and he takes a step and I get on the line. Or he's stepping back and forth, back, forth, back, forth. And I'm just catching him, getting the proper relationship with the bodies. So that's coming up. All right. Thank you much, Joe. Thank you. All right. Let's go to